Welcome once again. My name is Isaac Christopher Lubogo, and today I want to speak about something extremely important. Listen, my friends, climbing the mountain of success often requires what they call navigating through the valleys of failure. And therefore, each stumble is a lesson, it's a setback in terms of an opportunity for you to use it as a stepping stone. So, failure is not the end of the road, it's the bend in the path that leads to wisdom, resilience, and the strength to rise to stronger than before position. Listen, the Basoga have this saying that ete senda tefula, meaning that if you don't have the opportunity to sometimes go back in life and have those setbacks and start again afresh with that strength, you may not be able to make a mark. Failure is an outcome of not achieving a desired goal or result. It can take many forms. It can be personal, it can be professional, it can even be academic. So dealing with failure can be extremely challenging. So I'm going to provide some strategies on how to cope with it. Not because it doesn't happen to me, it happens to me, but I want us to learn to embrace it. Number one, embrace it. Accept failure as part of life and growth. Look at it as an opportunity to learn and improve. Please understand me. Number two, analyze and learn. Reflect on what went wrong. Find out the whys. Identify the lessons in terms of the insights that you gain out of this bad experience. Number three, adjust your mindset. Shift from what they call a negative perspective to a growth mindset. See failure as a stepping stone in terms of success and not a reflection of your worth. Number four, take responsibility. Acknowledge your role in failure and take responsibility in terms of your actions and avoid blaming it on others. Stop this ideology of saying so and so is the cause of my failure. Number five, set new goals. Use failure as motivation to set new goals, achievable goals. Create a plan and work towards them. Number six, sometimes it's important to seek support. Talk to friends if they are there. Look for family or even mentors. Talk about experience. The wise man, George Washington, said, if you had a friend in Washington, you're going to look for a dog. So I know it may be difficult for you to have friends, but at least talk to associates if they're there. Then practice resiliency. Build resiliency by developing what they call coping strategies. Managing stress and maintaining will give you a positive outlook. And then the aspect of perseverance. Keep trying. Don't let fear of failure hold you back from your future endeavors. Success often follows multiple failures. Remember that failure is not the end, but rather a stepping stone on the path to growth and success. Failure can manifest itself in so many ways. And I'm going to give you some of the different ways in which failure usually manifests themselves. Okay. One of them is academic failure. The ability to fail, or the fact that you failed a test or an exam, or even even in university or even in school, can be extremely painful. Sometimes it can be career failure, losing a job and not even getting a promotion perhaps, or even facing setbacks in terms of your professional life. And then there's this issue that has to do with business failure, a business venture that is not succeeding as expected, leading to heavy financial losses or even closure. Then relationship failure is another one, excruciating pain. The breakdown of a romantic relationship or even friendship can be extremely painful. Okay, even personal failure. Personal failure can be a problem. Failing to meet what they call personal goals, such as fitness or even financial objectives, can be extremely painful as well. Creative failure, experiencing challenges in terms of rejection in artistic or even creative pursuits. Sometimes you face rejection. The promoter doesn't know you, or the lecturer doesn't want you, or the business guy doesn't believe in you, whatever. Sports failure, failing in terms of a match or perhaps competition, can be painful as well. Even things like betting, sports betting. Health failure, failing in terms of illnesses, can be extremely painful. Those are different types of failures. They manifest themselves differently. Financial failure in terms of bankruptcy, in terms of debt, or even investment in terms of losses, can be extremely painful. Moral and ethical failure. How many times do we see men of God or women of God failing in terms of those particular areas? So you can make a wrong choice, or you can have conflicts with one's moral ethics or ethical values, and that can be extremely. So those are just examples. So failure can occur virtually in any area of life, in terms of your goals or in terms of expectations. So it is important, my friend, to remember that failure is part of the human experience and can lead to personal growth and resilience when managed effectively. Okay, I'm going to give you some guidance on how to cope with failure. As I said, not because I'm not going through it, but because I've gone through it 1,001 times. But the beauty is, I encourage myself. The word of God says, a right man falls 7 times, but the Lord raises them up. Listen, acknowledge your feelings. It is okay to feel disappointed. It is okay to feel frustrated. You know, it's okay to be upset about failure, but recognize and accept your emotions as a natural response. That is part of the healing. Number 2, self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Avoid what they call self-criticism and negative self-talk. Okay, treat yourself with some kind of kindness, understanding that you would offer, a better remedy if only you comprehend. Sometimes you can talk to a friend if you have. Okay, number 3, reflect and learn. Analyze. My friend, analyze what led to the failure. What could have been done differently. Use that experience as a valuable learning opportunity. Number 4, set realistic goals. Reevaluate your goals in terms of your expectations so that you ensure that they are attainable and aligned with your abilities and circumstances. Not so. Another one, seek support. Talk to a friend. If you have a friend, talk to family. If they're family, talk to a therapist. Okay? Sharing your feelings and thoughts can provide what they call emotional support and give you what they call a different perspective. And then another one is stay resilient. Develop resilience by practicing stress management techniques such as mindfulness, meditation, even exercise. Resilience can actually help you to bounce back from your setbacks. Okay, so that's not the end of the world. Just understand that these things happen and they happen on everybody. I'm going to tell you quite a number of examples of some people who have made it. And then adjust your approach. Sometimes it's a question of applying lessons learned from failure to refine your strategy. Make necessary changes in terms of improvement before attempting it again. Okay? And then stay persistent. Don't let failure deter you from pursuing your goals. Persevere. Keep moving forward, even if it means taking small steps. The Chinese have a proverb that you rather fall on the way rather than just giving up. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with 2 small steps. Another one, celebrate your wins, no matter how small it is. Building a series of small successes can actually boost your confidence. You have to learn to celebrate. The Americans say, blow your trumpet. The British say, don't blow your trumpet. Blow your trumpet. Number 10, focus. Concentrate on the present rather than the future in terms of opportunities and in terms of challenges. So remember that coping with failure is simply a process. It may take time to bounce back fully, but each failure can actually bring you one step closer to success. It can, as long as you know your approach in terms of resiliency and have that what they call the growth in terms of your mindset. I'm going to give some examples of people who have actually gone through failure, okay, and have used failures in terms of changing them into what they call ultimate success. Some of you probably know a guy called Thomas Edison. Edison was the inventor of the light, the so-called bulb, those bulbs, and is known for his famous quote. He says, I have failed, I have just found the 10,000 ways that don't work. So every time he fails, he says, now I know that the 10,000 ways that doesn't work. So he had numerous attempts in terms of failures eventually caused what they call transformative inventions in his life. Another guy, Walt Disney. Disney faced rejection and bankruptcy in his life career, and he was even fired from a newspaper for lacking creativity. Think about that. Yet he went on to create the so-called iconic Disney brand, including, Walt Disney. Some of you know Walt Disney in America. And then there's another guy called J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter. Some of you know Harry Potter, the series and the books and the movies. He faced multiple rejections, okay, but eventually, because of perseverance, he became one of the best-selling authors in history. Another guy called Steve Jobs. Who doesn't know Steve Jobs? After being ousted from Apple, the company he co-founded, Jobs returned and played a pivotal role in its resurgence. His visionary leadership revolutionized the tech industry even up to today. To the extent that he said before he died, I have things that the world is not even ready to achieve. Another one, Oprah Winfrey. You know Oprah Winfrey? She faced numerous rejections, personal challenges throughout her life, including being fired from her first television job. Think about that. And she later became a media mogul and even a philanthropist. Listen, my favorite, Michael Jordan. I like basketball. Michael Jordan, the GOAT in terms of basketball, widely regarded one of the great basketballers of all time. Jordan was initially cut off from his high school basketball team. He used his failure as a motivation to improve and ultimately achieve great success. Who doesn't know Colonel Sanders, the founder of Kentucky Fried Chicken? Many of you like the KFC, don't you? He didn't find success until he was in his 60s. Think about that. He faced countless rejections for his fried chicken recipe before the restaurant finally became, what it is today in terms of franchise. So those are just some of the examples that will give you. But you see, the idea behind this is that these individuals used resiliency, they used determination, they used the ability to learn from their failures or to ultimately change and use them as stepping stones to achieve their goals. I'm going to give you quite some others because it's important. These lessons will give you to say, okay, I think I'm not in this walk alone. Who doesn't know a guy called Albert Einstein? Albert Einstein was a renowned physicist who struggled academically. Think about it. We know Albert Einstein as a genius in terms of physics, the guy who did E equals mc squared. A renowned physicist struggled academically as a child and even faced rejection when he was even applying, to the Swiss Federal Polytechnic School. He later developed the so-called theory of relativity and even won the Nobel Prize in physics. Think about that. There's another guy called Steven Spielberg. Some of you know Steven Spielberg if you're movie goers or likers. The acclaimed filmmaker was actually rejected multiple times by the University of Southern California School of Cinematics, Arts, before pursuing his passion independently. And he went on to create, what they call iconic films like Jaws, E.T., and the so-called Jurassic Park. Who doesn't know him? Another guy, Henry Ford. Henry Ford's first two automobile companies actually failed, but he persisted and he founded the Ford Motor Company, revolutionizing the so-called automotive, industry as we know it today. Who doesn't know a guy called Elon Musk? Tell me about Elon Musk, probably the richest guy right now in the world. Musk experienced several setbacks and nearly bankruptcy in terms of his ventures, including SpaceX and Tesla. Despite those challenges, he became the pioneer in terms of aerospace and electric vehicle industries. Today, the guy is sui generis in his own way. Okay, who doesn't know Vera Wang? Before becoming the famous fashion designer, Vera Wang failed to make the US Olympic figure skating scene, and she later transitioned into fashion industry and built a highly successful brand. Another guy called Stephen King, who was the best-selling author of these so-called horror novels. Okay, initially faced rejection for his work. He even threw away the early draft, so the one that they used to call Carrie, and later his wife encouraged, and now later he became extremely successful in writing even after that. So these examples just give you quite a number of people who have gone through some of these challenges. So we're saying that even as you walk this journey or this trend or this listen, life is a journey and not a destiny. So some of you think that we've reached our destiny. It's a journey. So there will be ups and downs. You just have to learn from the likes of Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln faced numerous failures and setbacks in his life, including business failures and multiple losses in elections. He's now celebrated as one of the greatest US presidents of all time. Think about that. I can go on and on and on. Colonel Sanders, I just told you about that. Before founding KFC, Colonel Sanders faced financial ruin in terms of multiple job failures. He even started KFC in the 60s and later turned it into a global empire in terms of fast food empire today. There's another guy called Milton Hershey. Milton Hershey was the founder of the Hershey Chocolate Company. This guy faced multiple business failures before actually finding success with his so-called chocolate business. Another guy called Vincent van Gogh. Now, Van Gogh was a famous artist. He struggled with his mental health issues and sold only few paintings during his lifetime. Today, his works are highly regarded and very valuable. Okay? Another guy, my favorite, some of you probably have heard about him, the guy who baptized our country, the Pearl of Africa, Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill faced numerous political failures and was even regarded as a political liability at times. Think about that. He later became the British Prime Minister and played a pivotal role in World War II. Okay? So these are not stories that I'm just making up. These are real life situations. And I just want you to understand that it's impossible for you to not go through failure, but it is possible for you to overcome your challenge. There's another guy called Fred Astaire. He was a legendary dancer and actor. and was once told by a screen test director that he couldn't act or even sing and should find another line of work. He went on to become one of the most influential entertainers in history. So these individuals faced adversity in terms of rejection, in terms of setbacks, but they persevered. They learned from their failures and eventually achieved remarkable success in terms of their respective fields. So the intention of my discussion with you is to simply speak to your soul and spirit and mind and know that, my friend, my brother, my sister, you are not walking this journey alone. Failure is part of life. But I just want you to understand that even there's a gentleman called R.H. Mackey. He was the founder of the Mackey department store. He also experienced multiple business failures before launching into what they call the iconic retail chain. Bill Gates. Who doesn't know Bill Gates? Bill Gates is actually known for his success with Microsoft. Not so. But he dropped out of Harvard and faced business challenges and legal issues along the way. He is now known as probably one of the world's richest individuals today. There's another guy called Jerry Seinfeld. So probably you know him. Jerry Seinfeld was also a famous comedian in early stand-up routines, where he made a lot of failure and rejection. He continued to refine his act and eventually became a household name. I can go on and on. Sylvester Stallone. Who doesn't know Sylvester Stallone? You know that? Those movies. Rambo. You know those movies? You remember Rambo? Stallone faced numerous rejection as an actor and was so broke that he had to actually sell his dog. Think about that. He later wrote, and starred in the so-called Rocky film series, achieving massive success. Okay? There's another one called J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons was an Oscar-winning actor who had a long and challenging journey in terms of Hollywood, with many small roles and setbacks before gaining recognition for his works in the so-called Wimp Wash. I can go on. I can talk about Ronda Rousey. He was the founder of what they call the UFC fighter and WWE superstar. Some of you like WWE superstar, okay? He lost her first, professional MMA fight, but went on to become the dominant champion and pioneer in the women's combat sports. So whether it's a woman, whether it's a man, whether it's anything, I can go on. Richard Branson. Who doesn't know Richard Branson? The founder of a Virgin Group, who faced several business failures, including Virgin Cola and Virgin Atlantic early struggles. He continued to expand his business empire successfully. So these stories are intended to emphasize that failure is not permanent in terms of an obstacle, but rather a stepping stone or a path to success for many accomplished individuals. So you have to understand that you have to demonstrate the importance of resilience, the importance of perseverance, and a positive attitude in terms of overcoming your setback. My friends, I'm still continuing. I want to give you some of the reasons why people usually fail. Okay? So I'm going to give you some reasons. Why do people fail? People fail because of, number one, lack of preparation. Okay? Lack of preparation. Insufficient planning, insufficient research, lack of knowledge can lead to failure. My people, the word of God says, my people perish because of lack of what? Knowledge. Lack of knowledge can lead to failure. So whether in academics, business, or even personal endeavors. Number two, inadequate skills or experience. So please understand, when you lack the necessary skills or experience, it can hinder your success in many areas. Okay? Even in terms of your career, even in terms of your creative pursuits. Number three, poor decision making. Sometimes we make this decision hastily or uninformed or out of impulse. Decisions can lead to undesirable outcomes. Another thing is lack of persistence. That is extremely important. Lack of persistence. A genius, by the way, is only 1%, only 1%, 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. So lack of persistence can also cause you that. External factors is another cause. Sometimes external factors beyond one's control, such as economic downfalls or even natural disasters, can actually contribute to one's what? Failure. And that can be understandable. Things like force majeure, like the lawyers say. Overconfidence is another one. Sometimes excessive confidence without solid foundation can lead to risky decisions and eventual failure. Please understand that that's another serious thing. Another thing is the fear of failure. Okay, remember what JFK said? The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Okay, the fear of failure. The fear of failing can actually be paralyzing and prevent individuals from taking necessary risks in terms of pursuing your goals. Another aspect is procrastination. Procrastination, they used to tell us in my alma mater, is a thief of time. Delaying actions and tasks can lead to missed opportunities and even eventual failure. This idea of I'll do it tomorrow, let me wait. Procrastination is a thief of time. and then lack of adaptability, the inability to adapt. In America, I think the Navy SEALs have this other, even the Navy SEALs have this other thing that says adapt, overcome, and improvise. You have to adapt, overcome, and improvise. And then another is unrealistic expectations. Setting goals that are too ambitious or even that are not grounded on reality can actually set you as an individual for absolute disappointment and failure. And then another, soft skills, poor communication, miscommunication, or lack of effective communication can lead to misunderstandings, and even, in terms of your projects, even in terms of your relationships. So please understand that when you communicate, it's extremely important. Then external obstacles, sometimes external factors such as competition, market conditions, and even regulatory changes can also contribute to failure. So failure has so many things that cause it. So you just have to understand what is the cause. Financial mismanagement, for example, poor financial planning, overspending, or even financial mismanagement in terms can lead to business or even personal failure. Okay, lack of support. Listen, I'm giving you support, so you don't have an excuse. Lack of support in terms of friends or even family or even from mentors can actually cause you to, have challenges in terms of overcoming your obstacles, and therefore causing you to be unsuccessful. Burnouts. The overexertion in terms of or even neglecting self-care can lead to physical and mental burnout, potentially resulting into failure. So it's important, my friend, to recognize that failure, as I said, is a natural part of life. It can offer valuable lessons for personal growth and also for future success. So understanding the causes of failure can help you as an individual to take what they call proactive steps to mitigate risks and also improve in terms of your chances for achieving your goals. I'm going to give a little bit more examples of potential causes again, so that you can, be able to not bear or give an excuse in terms of inadequate resources. Clearly, the inability, insufficiency in terms of access to resources, whether financial, technological, even human capital, can actually impede you in terms of progress and lead to failure. So comprehend that. Complacency, this idea of becoming too comfortable, with the status quo, can hinder the innovation. Perhaps that's Africa's biggest problem. It can hinder in terms of innovation and growth, and potential resulting in stagnation and failure. You need to read my book, the idea that about the fact that Africa should bear no more excuses. We should all have to own sleep in our bed. Lack of focus. This idea of diverting attention and resources to too many tasks or projects simultaneously can also cause you to have failure in terms of your whatever you're doing. And then poor time management, inefficiency in terms of using your time proactively or in a good way. This idea of missing deadlines, can also cause failure. Take serious note. Ineffective leadership. Look for my book. I Fire All Lazy President. Ineffective leadership can also cause the fact that you have wrong leaders in decision-making positions that cause you to not to succeed. Health issues. Personal health issues in terms of your problem, whether physical or mental, can also impact you in terms of your ability to perform and achieve your goal. And then market timing. Market timing becomes extremely important in business, for example, and investing. Poor timing with respect to market trends in terms of consumer demand can lead to financial failure. And then another aspect has to do with what they call resistance to change, the unwillingness to embrace change. Change has to come, and it's important for you to comprehend whether in terms of personal habits or business strategies. It can lead to what they call obsolescence and even failure. So you must understand that. Another aspect has to do with what they call legal, even ethical issues. In terms of violating laws or regulations or ethical principles that can result in legal troubles. And even damage your reputation and business forever. And then misaligned goals as well. When individuals or team goals are not aligned with broader objectives, it can lead to what they call inefficiencies and even failure to meet your overall goals. And then negative environment. Last time I was talking about what they call toxic friends, or negative energy. So be careful with the negative environment. A toxic or unsupportive work or even social environment can undermine your motivation and hinder your success. So be careful for such environments. And then lack of innovation. Failing to adapt, as I said, failing to innovate, failing to stay ahead, failing to think outside the box and throw the box away can also cause some kind of failure. And then ineffective marketing, Poor marketing strategies can also cause failure. In terms of reaching your target or audiences, this can also hinder you and even reduce on the success of your products or even your services. And then the inability to learn from your mistakes. Please learn from your mistakes. Continually repeating the same mistake without learning from them can lead to repeated failure. So learn. There's a law firm where I was working, and they have 6 rules. Number 1, the first one is consult. The second is consult. The third one is consult. Fourth, prepare. Fifth, prepare. Sixth, prepare. Then ego and stubbornness. Inflated ego or even stubbornness can prevent individuals from seeking help or making necessary changes in terms of contribution, and that can eventually lead to failure. So recognize that these potential causes of failure actively, if not addressed, can actually cause you to seriously have stumbles and setbacks. So please prepare yourself, learn from these failures continuously, improving your skills in terms of your decision making and in terms of what they call adaptability. Once again, my name is Isaac Christopher Lubogo. Find our works at lubogo.org and at suigenerislawup.com. God bless you and thank you for your attention.